In 2000, a Russian rocket launched from Kazakhstan carrying one of the earliest parts of the International Space Station into orbit. While this might seem like a typical rocket launch, the rocket had a massive Pizza Hut logo on its side. This was part of an advertising campaign where Pizza Hut paid $1 million for Russian cosmonauts to eat their pizza in space and display their logo on the rocket. But why don't we see advertisements on rockets more often? In this video, we'll explore the unique history of advertising in spaceflight and why it's not common. We'll also discuss how the future of low-cost rockets might change that. Advertisements are everywhere in the modern world, from the internet to television, sports events, tourist attractions, and movies. Anything that draws a lot of attention attracts advertising. For example, the 2019 Super Bowl, watched by 100 million people, charged around $5 million for a 30-second commercial. Despite the large audiences, advertisements have not appeared in significant spaceflight events like the first moon landing in 1969 or the first Falcon Heavy test flight. NASA, being a government agency, has strict policies against endorsing products. They send M&Ms to the space station for astronauts to eat, but astronauts have to call them candy-coated chocolates instead. While NASA could potentially earn millions through sponsorships and advertisements, it's a small amount compared to the costs involved in space operations. In contrast, the Russians are more open to advertisements. A Russian cosmonaut once hit a golf ball into orbit as part of a sponsorship deal, and in 1996, they took a giant Pepsi can into space for a commercial outside the Mir space station. Pizza Hut considered projecting their logo onto the moon's surface using lasers but found it impractical and expensive. Instead, they settled for displaying their logo on the side of a Russian Proton rocket. While rocket companies have yet to embrace sponsorships fully, the rise of private companies like SpaceX and Rocket Lab, with their lower launch costs, could change that. As online viewership of rocket launches grows, we may see sponsored liveries on rockets in the future. So, while advertising hasn't made its way into spaceflight yet, we can only hope that the first step on Mars isn't sponsored by Pepsi. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to uncover more space curiosities. Come on this journey with me.